absolutely does not have to be perfect. It's not you. It's not the one giving the final answer. It's giving you information. You, as the smart, intelligent human, can then go, okay, I think that's right or not, or I'm going to go check that or whatever. And then
it may not be. Hello and welcome back to the Hevi AI podcast, the podcast where we explore the intersection of all things AI, tech, and industry. I'm Paul and he's Brad, and together we've built Hevi, your AI-powered contract admin platform. It's been a little while since we've recorded something, Brad, and I thought it'd be about time as we come into the end of 2025 to kick this back off. We're going to do a little bit of a different format this time around. We'll keep things nice and short and sweet. Hopefully sort of 10 to 20 minutes each week, where we can dive into a couple of different segments. We'll talk about some AI news of the week, dive deeper onto an AI tool of the week, and then spend a bit of time answering any and all AI FAQs that everyone has, and sort of the key things that we keep hearing as we talk to people about AI, and then have a quick AI myth-busting section to close us off. Keen to hear some feedback on this new format. We'll keep things pretty general and just keep things, applicable to everyone's both personal lives and professional lives. I guess excited to jump in.
No, absolutely. I'm also super excited to be back into it. It's like, this annual thing. It's Christmas. It's Christmas come around.
Your weekly update on the AI news of the week.
So let's dive into some of the latest, greatest of AI news that's happened, and not necessarily in the last week, but in the last probably 6 or so months since we recorded anything. Obviously, there's been lots of stuff happening in all things AI. There's been new models released, it seems like almost every week now, or at least every month, by all of the large companies. There's updates to video models and image models and like voice models. So and then we've got like the agentic browsers that are coming or come with Comet from Perplexity, as well as Atlas from ChatGPT. So I guess, over to you, Brad, to just dive into anything and everything on all of that. Like there's been so much happening in the last little while. Have a bit of a rant about what you've seen in the last little while on news.
Even as you were saying that, I was like filled with fear about how I was going to try and squeeze this into a 10 to 20 minute podcast, as we just described. I was like, wow.
Well, if we do it weekly, we'll be right. We just pick a nugget each week and we'll be right.
Chip away. But yeah, okay, I know Sora 2, huge. We've got to talk about that. The other big thing, I guess, that's probably the last week or so is Cursor 2 and their own model that they've brought out, a composer model. With that, that's probably, maybe I'll start with that because that's what I've been using the most and can kind of jump onto.
Yeah, go for it.
It is really cool what's come out in the coding world in terms of these agentic models that are able to search through entire code bases, find the right bits and then make changes in the right way and that kind of thing. They use mostly the same models, like you have GPT-5, sonnets and stuff. The main piece of software, though, that kind of orchestrates, your connections to all those models is Cursor, and that has, they have just released their own model. So it's really exciting, interesting, because we're seeing these, like another player enter the field for building foundation models. It's not quite as good as my favorite, Sonnet 4.5 at the moment, but it's way faster, which is really interesting.
Yeah, do you think it's like, I guess they probably haven't released on what is the underlying tech behind that new model, but I'm guessing it's some open source, either Chinese or open source bootstrapped something that's then they've done a bunch of work on the back end to it to make it what it is, plus using all the insights that they have from Claude and GPT, etc. It'd be interesting to know what's the underlying tech behind it.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, I haven't done the research to be able to come out and say, they've, kind of backtracked.
Augmented on Quen, Hevi, whatever.
And then they've given it almost like fine-tuned that with all of their own data, or maybe because they just have so much coding going through their platform now.
Yeah.
Maybe they have just trained
from scratch.
From scratch. And
Yeah.
they could probably do that. And if it's a coding specific
they're
model,
worth-
then they probably have the most code to try it on. Train it.
Exactly. And they're worth billions of dollars with hundreds of mil of ARR now. So like, yeah, who knows what they're doing behind the scenes. But I guess from a user perspective, let's make it a bit more real for our listeners. Like, yeah, I guess from a user perspective, you've seen massive improvements in time, speed, accuracy, value in terms of like what you're building.
That's definitely, and I think that's what's going to come to all AI. What this has shown is that you can have solid, accurate agentic AI that works
Quickly.
5 times faster than like the other leading models, probably 10 times faster than GPT-5. So the kind of speed you're currently getting from maybe your co-pilots or whatever, like there are models out there already that are 10 times as fast. So expect that in the next few months.
As a thought I was having this week on, like, I'm personally almost trained now to like ask a request of any AI models that I use, even Hevi, and like expect to wait a while before receiving a response. Whereas like the initial ChatGPT like excitement and buzz was just like instant back and forth, like ask a question and it just starts typing instantly. Like it's almost like, wonder if that's on purpose by the foundation model companies to like put the handbrake on some compute capacity to just be like, oh, slow things down a bit, and therefore the user experience is like you're just trained to be like, oh, it's going away and doing a bunch of work for me. It's thinking. Oh, it just says it's thinking, so therefore it can think for a while. And I'm not expecting an instant answer. I'm expecting a good, well researched answer after a little while.
Yeah, it makes you think it's better research. Do you remember when McDonald's in Australia did like fries in a basket and like craft burgers and things?
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
and they were like, it's the exact same product, but they made you wait 15 minutes and they brought the fries out in a basket or
chopping board.
Wooden chopping board. And they're like, everyone will think it's better quality because they've waited longer for it. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. But it's interesting to see how that will change over time as well. Like whether that's the new norm is that like everything's more agentic, so therefore it's going to take a while to go through that sort of reasoning loop and chain of thought versus just getting quicker and faster. Like it's one to watch.
Definitely.
Let's jump into all things video now. So like Sora, what are the cool things that you've seen come out of Sora so far? Even though we should say this, that we're talking from Australia, that we can't actually access it from Australia yet. Obviously seeing a lot of cool things happen online. We're very jealous of those cool things happen because it looks like it's pretty powerful from what I've seen so far.
No, totally. I think, VO3 came out a few months ago and we were all like blown away. It's amazing how quickly that's been now beaten by Sora 2, which has just blown that away and created something even better. And like the reason why it's so much better is because of character consistency. Like it's the first video model where you can, capture your face, put it into
Clone
it,
yourself.
and then it can, exactly. It can like reliably reproduce you, in all these different situations. So that's pretty huge. It means you can actually make you could theoretically like, stitch these clips together and make a real movie.
Yeah, and and the thing that the way that they released it being that sort of more social media app sort of style to trying to be like that viral TikTok, Instagram vibe, to then make the onboarding seem almost instant to be like, hey, I've just cloned myself and now I can just put myself in all these wild situations and then hand over all your IP rights and usability rights to the big bad world of OpenAI. It's a pretty wild time.
Yep. I know, and I think
Also,
that was like a brilliant marketing move doing that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, it's the way to like always say it to even our customers. It's like, well, the way they get the data is just like provide value for free and then they will use your data to do whatever the hell they want with it.
It's always appeal to people and people's individual interests and needs, and then they'll use it for their business things after that.
Also saw some cool stuff the other day that was like, around Halloween, was a bunch of kangaroos going up to like Halloween decorations and particularly like witches or zombies that were sitting on front porches, and like they would go and like suss it out and be like, oh, what's happening here? And then like the whip off and be like, ha, 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 ha. And then we would just like punch it in the face, do a big leg kick and like knock it over. And I'm like, that's clearly not like real. Like that's really cool. It looks really cool, but that's definitely an AI video.
I know. It is going to get harder and harder to know what the difference is, I think. I think already that people wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Oh, if you're just quickly scrolling, like, and it's good enough, and it's like on a handheld cam, or it's like security style footage that's grainy naturally anyway. Like, it's very hard to tell now. Cool. So let's move on from news to all things AI. So
It's
each week,
the AI tool of the week.
things AI. So each week, moving forward, we'll dive into an AI tool of the week during this segment. But for now, we'll just quickly run through all of the different categories of the AI tools that exist that we can cover in subsequent weeks. So I guess we've obviously got the foundation models that exist and like by the big guys that are out there. On top of that, we've then got the coding tools that exist and like all the Copilots, Cursors, Claude Code, and then Lovable, Bolts, Base 42, Replets, etc. Image gen models, obviously a lot of them are fundamentally inside the foundation models themselves, but on top of that, there's Midjourney and Ideogram and like Stable Diffusion that have their own very specific and quite good, in some cases, image models. I know Midjourney was massive back in the day when sort of all of this AI image gen first started. And then obviously video models, we mentioned Sora and VO3 previously as part of the big guys, but then there's also like Runway, Kling, Pika, and Luma. Some of those Chinese ones with the bootleg copyright where you can get any character to do anything. I've seen some stuff that they're pretty wild. Then we've got music models that are getting pretty wild at the moment. Suno, I know, just released some cool stuff where you can actually extract out stems and then start building on top of that using AI as well, which I know Brad, as a music nerd, we can touch on in some detail in coming weeks.
I'm gonna play that.
And then voice models. Yeah. Voice models, like I know we've played around with some of them internally, 11 Labs, and some of the text-to-speech stuff inside, like Google and Azure and OpenAI as well. Agentic workflow models, which I think, Brad, you can dive into some of them for our actual tool of the week, but some of the stuff we'll cover off there. Obviously, robots. Keen to use this as an excuse to maybe buy a robot that we can then talk about it in our tool of the week segment to be like, hey, we've now got a Unitree R1 sitting here and welcome to the show. But we'll see how we go there.
Listeners, please,
then
please
obviously
demand that we do that.
We probably won't take much convincing to justify, we can spend that money.
One person told us to, let's do it.
Yeah. And there's obviously a long tail, which Hevi is a part of, is like niche vertical AI applications as well. So there's probably a fair few in them that we can across, whether it's healthcare, customer support, sales and marketing, IT, security, ed tech, con tech, legal tech, ad tech, media tech. Like there's a bunch of stuff that we can talk about. But for today, I think, Brad, you've been playing with some of the agentic workflows recently. Let's dive into, let's go Zapier for this first AI tool of the week.
Yeah, 100%. And I was keen to chat about this one because I did have a bit of a deep dive into it the other day to work out, exactly what it can do, because it promises like to be able to do everything.
Oh, they all promise the world. It's like, plug in your email, plug in your Slack, plug in your life, and you can just automate your life for you.
Exactly. And what's going on in the background is that, so for most language models, like say you're using Claude Desktop or something, or even ChatGPT, you can now, if you switch dev mode on, you can you can connect it to MCPs, and MCPs are like connectors into your other bits of software, like Google Calendar or Gmail or whatever it is, so that it can do, it can kind of like interact with that bit of software. Now,
stands for Model Context Protocol, I should flag to there, just for
yes, yeah, and for your exam at the end. But the problem is that in all of these other tools that are connecting through MCPs, usually that MCP restricts it to only like viewing data. So, it might be able to read all your calendar events and read your emails, but you can't go into ChatGPT, even if it's connected to Gmail, and say, hey, send an email to Paul saying this, because it doesn't have that capability. Whereas Zapier already has all those connections with all of those different bits of software, tens of thousands of them. And so putting AI onto Zapier, then it allows you to, in theory, be able to chat with AI that can do all those things Zapier could do. So I gave it a test, and I guess the short answer is it does work. You can do it. It's not
Yep.
as simple as I thought. There's a few different like forms of chatbot, agent, whatever, in Zapier. You got to go to the one called Agents. I think that's what I realized.
Yep.
And then you kind of have to run it through you have to install a plugin into your browser and then chat with it in the browser. And it's always looking at what's on the web page. It doesn't have like, just like I found it hard to create just a chat portal that's dedicated for it, but it can do it. So yeah,
It can do both read and write is the takeaway.
it can do write as well as read. So yeah, you can chat with it. If you've set up your Zapier thing properly, you can chat with it and say, hey,
I guess
add this data to, Salesforce, whatever.
I guess the initial sort of takeaway for the sort of the agentic workflow tools at the moment is a lot of them claim to do everything and anything, and they can read and write and link all your data and just be that agentic sort of 24/7 agent. But I think that the tech barrier to entry is still quite high for most people. Like I know I've played around with Gumloop, Make, Zapier as well. And then OpenAI has their own agent one that's coming or available.
OpenAI
A10 is one that
OpenAI agent kind of sucks, that agent mode thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zapier.
So that's I think most of them are still that it's still a step above most users. I think so
Totally.
far.
It took me a whole day. I mean,
which is still
I use AI constantly. We run an AI company. It still took me a day to figure out how to set it all up in Zapier, just because there are all these different, versions of AI and copilots and things in Zapier even. So I think you're right. It's still kind of tricky to just get it all set up in the first place.
Which can be more daunting for most people, and probably quite a good segue to some of our AI FAQs and AI myth busting. So I guess the takeaway is these tools are really cool, and each week we're going to talk about some really cool tools. We're obviously deep in the AI world. It's a great segue to answering our first AI FAQ.
Answering your AI FAQs. We've got the answers right here for you.
AI FAQ is first AI FAQ is what's the best way to learn about AI, and how do I go about learning about all these tools and starting experimenting and playing with them and learning about the capabilities that's out there.
Yeah, it is as simple as ask the AI itself. And have it.
Which AI? What AI are you trusting
go.
to teach about AI?
I mean, ChatGPT is always the starting point, but I think you use that to tell you what is out there, what tools are available, and then jump into that tool and ask it how to use itself. Go into Zapier, for example, just back to that one, has its own copilot within it that you can ask how to use Zapier.
Obviously, there's a bunch of free resources where it's YouTube videos, podcasts. Hopefully, this becomes a nice resource for people down the line. I know I listen to sort of 5 or 6 different AI podcasts every single week just to get abreast of the news and the tools that are out there. Hopefully, we can be a good resource for individuals that are out there. But I guess the best way to get people on board is to try a couple of bespoke use cases to be whether it's just a search one. You can use Google in AI mode now, or Gemini exists. ChatGPT free exists. Claude, I think, has a free one as well. Just start there and I like to put on voice mode or put on text or speech to text transcribe and just talk for a while and be hey, I've just been thinking about XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Here's a mad rant about current family problem or current health issue that something is happening. What do you think about this? Or tell me more about this. It'll give you a really good answer and then probably ask you a bunch of follow-up questions, or even just say that's one of the things that I have started doing a hell of a lot more is I want to talk to you about writing a bunch of blog posts for Hevi. Ask me a bunch of questions to gather all the context that you need to help me then achieve this task. And then ChatGPT or whoever will then go through and ask you a bunch of questions, and then you just again answer all those questions, and then you've started that AI workflow already as well.
No, definitely. And when it comes to learning about AI, what you really need to do is you're just learning what it can't do, because
Yep.
you get it. You just see a chat bar, so it feels like the opportunities are infinite. The only learning is knowing what it's good for and what it's not. So
What its limitations are.
yeah,
Yeah,
and so like the best way is just to try and see what it comes up
that's
with. It
always
only
been
takes a
daunting.
few seconds to answer.
Yeah. That's probably the daunting thing for most people is like, yeah, whether it's software or whether it's anything, is like just getting a blank page or getting a blank box. Like it's,
Mhm.
what do I do with this blank sheet of paper? Or what do I do with this blank AI chatbot? But yeah, play around with it and keep listening to us, and hopefully you can learn a thing or two.
Mm.
Okay.
Busting all the myths about AI.
Okay, jumping into our last segment before we wrap, AI myth bust, which is a good one just about what we were talking about before. Myth that we can bust this week is AI must be 100% accurate before we use it. Brad, tell us your thoughts on that.
I probably revert everything I do with AI like 6 times before I accept the answer, and that is still
The output.
infinitely faster than doing it any other way. It
Yeah.
is it absolutely does not have to be perfect. It's not you, it's not the one giving the final answer. It's giving you information, so you as the smart, intelligent human can then go, "Okay, yeah, I think that's right or not, or I'm gonna go check that," or whatever, and then go and eventually give the right answer to the whoever you need to give it to. It is a tool used by humans. That's why it's not replacing you. So
Yeah, I think that's
yeah,
the thing is like
such
the
a
human in
myth.
the loop element at the moment is like so needed in everything, and like
Mm,
don't just trust the agentic workflow to start something and do something without that human check if it is a critical thing. But yeah, like that instant access to information that's like that step above like a Google search or just like that more sort of just enriched data set is
mm,
just massive compared to what it was 3 years ago before. Like I think we're almost at the 3-year anniversary of ChatGPT being released. So like we're still in its infancy, and the value that's there is just like, yeah, like so much above like baseline that like, yes,
mhm.
it may not be 100%, but like it's still infinitely better than doing everything manually.
That's it, and like, it's a lot about expectation setting as well. When you have your expectations that I'm gonna ask it one question and it's gonna give me the perfect answer from the very beginning,
Yeah.
then it's very easy to get disappointed. Whereas if your expectation is, "Oh, I'm gonna, ask it a question, then I'm gonna ask it a follow-up question, then a few more follow-ups, and I'm gonna use it as a partner," then you'll be like, "Wow, this is amazing," and you'll have a great
Yeah.
experience with it. So I'd
I think
say
that's, yeah,
have the
it's a good point.
expectation
Like,
of using follow-up questions.
yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, I can one shot my whole job and be like, oh,
Mhm.
and I just review these 10,000 line items of this spreadsheet that would take me 5 days to review. And I now expect with AI, it should do it in 10 seconds. And like, oh, it doesn't answer it 100% perfectly the first time. It's like, well, no, it's still, it's going to be not go from 5 weeks to 5 seconds, but it might go from like 5 days to 1 day or 5 hours. So like, it's still not
Yeah.
100%, but still better than manual.
Yeah, even if you have to break the work up into chunks or something like that, it's
Yeah.
remember what it is without AI.
Yeah. 100%. Awesome. I think that's enough for us today.
Mhm.
Look forward to diving back in next week. Yeah, so that's it for us today. Be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast for all things AI with a bit of a heavy industry and industry lean to it. And if you'd like to learn more about what we do at Hevi, jump on over to hevi.app. And thanks for listening and have a great day.